I'm filming this for YouTube, so the conversation can be heard, so please, I don't mind if I let you talk, Mr. Thank you. You know, I have a YouTube channel, and I'm covering this, and I don't want to violate your privacy, so I'm just letting you know, okay?
All rise! All uniformed personnel follow commands on the field. At it! Hot! Present! Out! Police color guard! March on colors!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light both the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets read through, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Police color guard! March out colors!
God, we remember the towers falling, the lives lost, the grieving families, the despair, our vulnerability. And we remember the heroes who held the injured and held death in their hands. We give thanks to those who served and saved. Bless those who live with loss. Give them strength when they are in need, hope in times of despair, comfort in times of grief, and heal their broken hearts. Amen.
On behalf of the Saraceni and O'Neill families, good morning, Patriots. Welcome to the Saraceni-O'Neill Atlantic City 9/11 Memorial Ceremony. It has been 22 years since we lost Victor Saraceni, John O'Neill, Andrew Alamino, and Patricia Cody. It has been 22 years since we sat glued to our television sets, watching in disbelief as the unthinkable, the unimaginable, and the unalterable unfolded. We gather here today to honor, reflect, and pay our respects to the 2,977 people who died on September 11th, 2001, and to those who subsequently died from toxic dust and debris that permeated Manhattan. Our thanks to Mayor Marty Small, the City of Atlantic City, Police, Fire, and Public Works, and the CRDA for their sponsorship of today's event. Thank you to Gallagher and Rhodes Accountants of Cape Coral, Florida, for their generous contribution to today's event. We thank Bernie and Donna Ilson, Patriots Vote, for the use of their beautiful property. Thank you to John and Laura Gowdy for their beautiful sand sculpture. Thank you to the gentleman you see in the back of the lawn holding the American flags, the Legion Riders, Vietnam veterans all. We thank you for your service and thank you for your attendance today. Thank you to the Atlantic City Police Department for bringing all their recruits. And thank you to the founder of the Atlantic City 9/11 Memorial, Bob Pantalina. Flanking our stage are members of Atlantic City's police and fire departments who are here paying their respects to the over 400 members of the New York Police and Fire Departments who died in the line of duty on September 11th, 2001. Our Atlantic City and Ventnor Police and Fire Departments understand tragedy as they have lost over 80 public safety personnel in the line of duty since their inception. Chief Evans and Chief Sarkos, Chief Cahill and Chief Fussner, we thank you and your men and women for being here today. These brave officers run in so that others can run out. We are honored to introduce 5 flight attendants from United Airlines representing the 33 flight attendants who died on September 11th. Please hold your applause until all flight attendants are standing. We are pleased to welcome Angela Aubel, Lizette Bissetti, Donna Josephs, Donna Grossman, and Lynn Kyriakos. Thank you. Members of the New Jersey Retired Police and Firemen's Association, Atlantic County Chapter, Ron DiGiovanni, Merrill Kellum, and Joe Ulick will pay their respects to the firefighters and police officers who perished on September 11th, 2001 by placing a wreath at the Saraceni-O'Neill Memorial at the end of the ceremony. I invite all of you to visit our website, ac911memorial.com, to see and learn more about our mission and our ceremony, browse pictures and videos of past ceremonies, learn more about our local heroes who died on September 11th, 2001, Victor Saraceni, John O'Neill, Andrew Alamino, and Patricia Cody. To all of you in attendance today, thank you. You represent the unbreakable American spirit always within us that emerged out into the open in one of our nation's darkest hours. Please welcome Mayor Marty Small.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And it's a great day here in the city of Atlantic City. Can we say great day? Great day. And as we celebrate the 22nd anniversary of 9/11, it's also a great day in the USA. Can we say USA? USA. Yes. Who can ever forget that morning 22 years ago? There was a lot of confusion initially, but by nightfall, the definition of unity was the United States of America, because we were united. There were no party lines. There were no gender lines. There were no racial lines. It was one thing, one nation under God, seeking justice for all. And it made us stronger to today. And we shall never, ever, ever forget. I would like to recognize everyone who played a role in 9/11 or served our country. Can you stand up and wave your hand? Let's give them a round of applause. Because of you, we're continuously the land of the free and the home of the brave. And who could ever forget locally, our Atlantic City firefighters and police officers who were dispatched, and I'm sure the Ventnor police officers as well. Will all members of the fire department and police department of both cities please stand? The Small administration believes in supporting our public safety, giving both the best department in the world, the best fire department and police departments, the necessary tools to succeed. And we thank you for your service, not only to the city, but to your families as well, because we do know that it's a sacrifice. So on behalf of the great city of Atlantic City, as we stand here today, 22 years later, we are a better country for it, we are a stronger country for it, and we shall never, ever, ever forget. God bless you, God bless your families, God bless the great city of Atlantic City, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Jim Eberwein will present Isaac Rucker.
Thank you very much, and welcome to everybody here today. I am honored to introduce all of you to a true hero, Ike Rucker. Isaac Ike Rucker, age 94, of Smithville, is a veteran, a patriot, a merchant marine, lawyer, author, and a United States Marine. As a United States Marine, he was assigned to the Marine Barracks, also known as 8th and I, that is the oldest active post in the Marine Corps, and was founded by President Thomas Jefferson. The unit is responsible for both ceremonial and security missions. Isaac Rucker was a key member of this unit and a proud member of the United States Marine Corps and a member of the greatest generation. Ike, we are proud to honor you, we salute you, and it is truly my honor to present you to this audience. And Mr. Ike Rucker, if you would please stand, and he is right in front of me, ladies and gentlemen. And Ike wanted me to tell you he's wearing the same uniform that he had 70 years ago.
Thank you, Jim. Over the years, while working on this memorial, people have brought their 9/11 stories and their 9/11 connections to Bob and me. People have left touching mementos on the memorial, bouquets of flowers, handwritten notes, trinkets of their affection. A brick given to a good friend by Victor Saraceni. Rocks with the names of their deceased loved ones. Flags and other testimonies of love. I'm going to share one of these stories. On September 11th, 2001, at 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 struck the World Trade Center, South Tower, bringing instant death to almost all above the 77th floor. 55 minutes later, the North Tower collapsed, becoming a burial ground for over 1,100 people. When a son or a sibling dies, a part of you dies with them. Memories of them never leave. They are etched in your heart and soul. Wayne's mother, Arlene, and Wayne's sister, Lynn, are attending the 9/11 ceremony in New York this morning. They send their thanks and appreciation for your attendance and patriotism. Arlene and Lynn fondly remember their son and brother Wayne as wholesome, unassuming, friendly, academic, and loving. He was an avid New York Yankees fan, loved the team in pinstripes, especially when they beat the Boston Red Sox. His photo in a Yankees t-shirt taken by his mother a few days before his death, right after a big Yankee win over the Red Sox, is a loving keepsake, since it was the last photo taken by his mom. That photo will be displayed by his family and friends in New York at the 9/11 memorial ceremony today. Wayne's father, Arthur, known as Sonny, was a member of the Army Air Corps, heroic in World War II in the South Pacific Theater. He was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross and the Purple Heart Medal. Sadly, Mr. Russo passed away in 2010. He remembered his son as a gentleman and a gentle man, never having a harsh word for anyone. He was a man of loyalty, commitment, and integrity. Wayne was his father's son and the pride and joy of his mother, loved and admired by his younger sister Lynn. Wayne Allen Russo, 37, was a 1987 graduate of New York University's Sloan Business School with a degree in accounting. He was recruited and hired by Marsh McLennan and assigned to an office on the 98th floor of the World Trade Center South Tower. He was at work in his office on September 11th. Wayne was active with his free time as well. In addition to following the New York Yankees, he was a New York Giants football fan. He traveled the world. His passport was stamped with visits to India, China, Russia, Japan, and countries throughout Europe, especially Italy, where he visited 7 times. In his spare time, he earned a black belt in karate. Wayne Allen Russo, an intelligent young man, hardworking, enjoying life, seizing the opportunities that come with living in the United States of America. God bless Wayne Allen Russo, a man who died much too young, but never forgotten. Local resident and Wayne's cousin, Victoria Condorso Dulcimore, has attended this ceremony every year carrying Wayne's picture. She will accept a memorial flag in his honor. Please welcome Jamie Knutson.
Hello and welcome, everyone. God needed a guardian, a warrior to take an oath, to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. So he made a Coast Guardsman. He needed guardians to serve and protect our maritime borders and to perform search and rescues on our inland and coastal waterways. So he made Coast Guardsmen. He needed a warrior willing to bleed and die in our 17 wars and conflicts for the last 232 years. So he made Coast Guardsmen. He needed professionals with courage, strength, and daring. So he made the men and women of the United States Coast Guard.
Virginia. Michael Fedorko will present the keynote speech.
Thank you, Pam. First of all, I'd like to thank you for mentioning the New York Giants, a real football team other than that group about an hour west of here. I didn't grow up down here, so I'm from North Jersey. So. I'd also like to take a minute to recognize some of the recruits from the Atlantic County Police Academy, a lot of whom are going to be in Atlantic City. So take a good look, Mayor. They're going to be with you. They are hoping to graduate on September 28th. They have endured about 20 weeks of training, and they have about three and a half more weeks. In biblical times, when the Pharaoh's Academy pursued the Israelites to the shoreline of the Red Sea, Moses miraculously parted the sea and delivered the Israelites to the safety of the Promised Land. In World War II, Hitler's army pursued 338,000 French, Belgian, and British soldiers and trapped them on the shoreline of Dunkirk, France. Winston Churchill called for boat owners of any size to aid in their rescue. The miracle of Dunkirk began. For 9 days, an armada of British citizens braving enemy air, land, and sea attacks transported Allied soldiers across the English Channel and delivered them to the safety of British soil. On September 11, 2001, another exodus occurred when terrorists attacked the Trade Center. Over 500,000 residents, visitors, and employees fled Manhattan towards Battery Park and found themselves trapped between Ground Zero and the shoreline of the New York Harbor. For 9 frantic hours, the armada of private and public boats, organized and supervised by the United States Coast Guard, rescued the survivors from the terror of Osama bin Laden and delivered them to safety to the shores of Brooklyn, Staten Island, and New Jersey. Coast Guardsmen take an oath, requiring them to faithfully and honestly, according to the best skill and judgment, accomplish the mission. On that tragic day in American history, the men and women of the Coast Guard met and exceeded their sworn oath and live up to their motto, Semper Paratus, always ready. On September 11, 2001, a routine day for Coast Guard deployed out in the sector of New York. It was warm and pleasant with a light north wind blowing and clear skies. A perfect day to be on the water. A perfect day to be alive. Then terror struck like a lightning bolt. Islamic terrorists hijacked American Airlines Flight 11 and United Airlines Flight 175, demolishing the north and south towers of the World Trade Center, killing 2,977 innocents, injuring thousands in the process. Tens of millions of worldwide watched the event on television. In their most important mission since the founding in 1790 by Alexander Hamilton, the United States Coast Guard answered their call of duty. When the north and south towers collapsed, charcoal gray clouds of toxic dust, ash, and debris swept over southern Manhattan, covering everything in its path, including hundreds of thousands of survivors, residents, and employees. Highways, tunnels, bridges, mass transportation, and communications were shut down. They were under siege and cornered, with no place to run, no place to hide. Panic struck the fleeing mass, over 500,000, dazed and confused men and women and children, seeking safety from the carnage they had just escaped. All fearing another attack, all fearing death, they followed the person ahead of them, winding up trapped in Battery Park, trapped between Ground Zero and the New York Harbor, in desperate need of a miracle. Admiral Richard E. Bennis, in charge of the Port of New York, had a stellar resume, including key roles in 1996 Summer Olympics, the Alaskan Valdez oil spill, and in Virginia, recuperating from the previous day's surgery. When he saw the Twin Towers attack on television, he promptly got in his car, drove 232 miles to New York Harbor to oversee the mission. On his trek, he saw a large plume of smoke coming from the vicinity of Arlington, Virginia. He later learned that Flight 77 struck the Pentagon. Admiral Bettis is an experienced leader of men and women. He had confidence in his officers who passed along the trust to the rank and file, the heart and soul of the service. He was also aware that Coast Guard had just transitioned from peacetime to wartime mode, and he acted accordingly. His deputy, Captain Patrick Harris, was battle-tested both in air and sea, earning 34 air medals as a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. They were a good team with well-trained Coast Guardsmen. They were the right team at the right time in the right place to fulfill the Coast Guard oath. They rolled up their sleeves, went back to work. They called in the Atlantic Strike Team, appointing Lieutenant Michael Day as the on-scene commander. Lieutenant Day knew every sandbar, rip current, and key player in New York Harbor, having supervised numerous charity swims, July 4th fireworks, and similar events, but nothing of this magnitude and importance. And Lieutenant Day knew the resources of Sandy Hook Pilots Association, where their seasoned mariners, their tugboats, and their pilot ship, the 178-foot New York. They evaluated the available inventory of watercraft that the Coast Guard, NYPD, FDNY could provide, including that he needed more boats, a lot more, and sooner the better. With all the bridges, tunnels, highways, and conventional communications interrupted, Lieutenant Day opted to use Channel 16, the emergency Coast Guard channel. He keyed the mic on the Marine VHF radio announcing, all available boats, this is the United States Coast Guard, aboard the pilot boat, New York. Anyone available to help with evacuation of Lower Manhattan, report to Governor's Island. Repeat, report to Governor's Island. Lieutenant Day anxiously awaited the response to his VHF call for assistance. One boat appeared, then 25, and within an hour, a flotilla of 130 fishing vessels, yachts, pleasure, fishing skiffs, sightseeing, dinner cruise boats, ferries, and tugboats, including every asset of NYPD and FDNY, arrived at Governor's Island, in addition to every available asset of the United States Coast Guard that was in the water en route to Governor's Island. The United States Coast Guard and Lieutenant Day led the flotilla. As they nosed around southern Manhattan, they saw hundreds of thousands of people exhibiting shock, anxiety, fear, panic, the mass stretching 20 city blocks to the north and for blocks to the east and west. People covered in head to toe from dust and debris. Rumors of further attacks by air suicide bombers on the loose in city circulated among them, heightening their anxiety. All were afraid of further attacks, all in fear of dying. As the masses grew, the people were forced to the water by the crush of crowds. Some violently jumped to cleanse themselves of dust and debris and death. Lieutenant Day threw away the rule book as resources were scarce and there were lives to be saved. He authorized risk-safe overloading of boats and emptying all of the marinas to facilitate the unloading of evacuees. All boats, including multi-million-dollar yachts, were towed from their moorings to make room for the disembarking passengers. Calls from surrounding emergency service reported they had over 60 available ambulances awaiting the injured. The hospitals in New York and New Jersey were ready. Hundreds of off-duty Port Authority, New York Police, and Fire rushed to the ferry terminals for transportation to Ground Zero. Throughout the day, every VHF channel, you could hear people screaming, "Help, help, I need people over here. Someone is hurt. Coast Guard, over here." For 9 intense and grueling hours, the United States Coast Guard participated and led the exodus of over 500,000 evacuees to the safety of the shores of Staten Island, Brooklyn, and New Jersey. After all the evacuees were safe, the Coast Guard mission continued throughout the night and following the days. First responders needed transportation to and from Ground Zero. Supplies were in high demand, inclusive of bottled water, acetylene torches, oxygen, food, fuel, medical supplies, and the sobering request for tens of thousands of body bags. The Coast Guard set up showers, hydration sites, along with decontamination sites and rest areas for the workers. Late that night, a visit to Ground Zero revealed a pile of rubble and twisted steel, smoldering fires seen through the charcoal gray dust, thick as fog, blurring police and fire radios, beeping of construction equipment, a battlefield, an eerie and surreal killing field, a memory never to be forgotten. There was one sight that stood out amid the death and destruction: the American flag, raised by FDNY firefighters Johnson, McWilliams, and Ehrenstein. The flag waving in a light breeze on a bent and bruised flagpole, tattered and torn, beautiful yet defiant. The same flag raised at Fort McHenry on 1812, at Iwo Jima, the North Pole, the moon, the iconic symbol of freedom, elevated above the death and destruction. Among the rubble and twisted steel, announcing to the free world, America is still standing tall. That we will endure, we will preserve, like the phoenix, we will rise from the ashes, that we will not bend to knee of terrorism or evil. We are America strong, and that we are the United States of America. Thank you.
Sandpipers?
Police chief, fire chief, please report to the cannon. Lieutenant Crew, after the first two cannon volleys, please report to the cannon. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Sergeant at Arms Chuck Knudsen, last salute Military Funeral Honor Guard. We're here today to conduct a memorial service that is very similar to the over 150 memorial and funeral services we do each and every year. I would like to discuss with everybody what we're going to be doing, so no one is shocked by any loud noises. In honor of the fallen, we will be firing our Civil War cannons. We will be firing 3 volleys. The police chief will fire 1, fire chief will fire the 2nd, and Coast Guard commander from the local Coast Guard base will fire the 3rd. After each cannon fires a single volley for a total of 3, our memorial bell will be rung 3 times. After the memorial bell is rung 3 times, taps will be played, the flag will be unfolded, refolded, placed back on the table, and then we will present 3 flags. But before we begin any of that, I would like to draw everyone's attention to our most sacred possession. This is Last Salute's prayer box. Within it are the photographs, prayer cards, mementos for everyone that we honor. There are over 1,000 in here. We make a solemn promise to each and every family member when we conduct the ceremony that once they place their loved one inside this prayer box, they become a permanent member of our honor guard. They will travel with us everywhere we go and overwatch everything that we do. As part of that promise, this prayer box has been honored and prayed over by many clergy and dignitaries, congressmen, senators, governors, mayors, police chiefs, fire chiefs, the Attorney General of the United States, but most notably, many Medal of Honor recipients, including World War II's last Medal of Honor recipient, Herschel Woody Williams, who died last July. When we conducted his ceremony, his family placed him inside. Our prayer box has been honored at many locations. It was with us at Arlington when we conducted a ceremony there. It was flown by Black Hawk helicopter from Fort Dix to Vineland for the renaming of the middle school after the 1st Army Ranger to die in the Black Hawk Down battle. It was honored at the Battleship New Jersey. It has been placed in many military backpacks and carried across many military installations. Last November, it was at the New Jersey Governor's Mansion where 2 New Jersey governors honored those inside. Then it was placed on a Coast Guard helicopter and flown over restricted airspace in Washington, D.C. and Arlington National Cemetery. Every Memorial Day, it's placed in another military backpack and marched 21 miles. All of this is to remember and honor those that are carried within. I will read the prayer, and then we will begin our ceremony. May the gates of heaven open wide, and the protecting saint of warriors, the Archangel Michael, take hold of our fallen brethren and raise this guardian soul to paradise. May he wash away the sin and shield against evil, for this fallen defender of a nation and its people has known sacrifice in service of others. Raise your sword and ascend to the safety and peace above us. Relieve the soul of burden and be blessed upon it. Favor this soul whilst we present honor and shroud these noble warriors from darkness and hasten to everlasting light. Ever be righteously vigilant as we render our last salute. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that can see next to our prayer box, This steel is from the World Trade Center. Behind it is a flag that flew over the buildings. Final warning, the cannons will be loud.
Thank you. Marco Polo Smigliani, United States Marine Corps and four-time recipient of the Purple Heart Medal, will conduct the 2023 bell ceremony. Captain Tom Flanagan will ring the bell.
Thank you, Pam. Just take 1 second to thank a man who's been like a father figure for me for the last 35 years. Ike Riker, I salute you and I honor you. You've been a good example as a father. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you. Good morning, my fellow Americans. September 11, can you hear me? All right. Good morning, my fellow Americans. September 11, 2001 was a tragic day for our country, for the world. It's important that we remember and honor the victims who died on September 11, our military and our local heroes. Patriots, let's take a moment to honor our fallen heroes, the 2,977 innocents who perished on September 11th. Victor Saracini, John O'Neill, Andrew Alameno, Patricia Cody, our local military that died in our war against terror. Gloria Bradley, Francis Toda Jr., Tariq, Palacios Rivera, Sammy Rate, Mark Seaton, Leonard Russ, Christopher Castellina, and Anthony Sarusto.
Mr. George McLaughlin, Wayne Allen Russo, Stephen Weinberg. United States Coast Guardsman Vincent Dans, Gilbert Grandos, Jeffrey Plazo, Gregory Solorsky, for the 24 New York Police Department police officers, for the 37 Port Authority police officers, for the 343 Fire Department New York firefighters, and for our 33 flight attendants.
Thank you.
Passengers of crew of United Flight 93, 5 bells, please, to end the ceremony.
Thank you again, Pam. Good morning again, my fellow Americans. I am America. I was conceived by our founding fathers, born on July 4th, 1776. The Declaration of Independence is my birth certificate. George Washington and Betsy Ross are my godparents. I am our founding fathers, the Constitution, the Liberty Bell, and the Statue of Liberty. I am America. I am the Pilgrims in Jamestown, the immigrants at Ellis Island, the American flag, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the Star-Spangled Banner. I am America. I am a veteran, the fallen warrior. I am the Arlington National Cemetery, the unknown soldier. We are the land of the free and the home of the brave. We are America, the United States of America. Thank you, and God bless you, and God bless America, the greatest nation ever put on the face of this earth.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet
Sandpipers, please lead police, fire, flight attendants, and honored guests to our beautiful stand sculpture. Members of the Retired Police and Firefighters Association will place a wreath on the memorial.
Thank you for watching my channel. See you soon. Bye.